life of Bobbie Ann Burley Ferguson. Some stories aren't just told, they're lived in the corners of cities, in the hands of working women, and in the hearts of families who endured. This is the story of Bobbie Ann Burley Ferguson. Bobbie Ann Burley was born on April 30th, 1941 at West Penn Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her birth, like much of her life, was wrapped in complexity and strength. She's the daughter of Geraldine Burley, who was also born in Pittsburgh, but her family migrated from Atlanta, Georgia, and Whit Miller, whose family migrated from Pageland, South Carolina. Whit's presence in her life would remain distant. Baptized as a baby in the Catholic tradition and named after a man who had shown her mother great kindness during her pregnancy, Bobbie entered the world surrounded by resilience. Her roots were planted in a working-class Black family shaped by hard labor, tight quarters, and powerful bonds between generations. Bobbie's childhood was marked by movement, sacrifice, and the care of nurturing strong Black women and strong, protective Black men. She was raised by her grandmother, Virginia Burley, and her great-grandmother, Anna Jane Reiser. Her mother, Geraldine, worked full-time as a domestic worker, cleaning houses while doing her best to provide for her family. Around the time Bobbie was 4 or 5 years old, her mother got married to Frank Garnett, and Bobbie was placed more permanently in the care of her grandmother and great-grandmother. They lived at 6324 Penn Avenue Rear, in an alleyway above a row of connected homes. The housing was modest, even rough, located up on a roof with adjoining houses, but it was where Bobbie's earliest memories were rooted. Also living in the home was Carl, not Bobbie's grandfather by blood, but a man who adored her deeply. Bobbie called him Uncle Carl. And though she never referred to him as her granddad, he loved the ground she walked on. He gave her special attention, always looking after her. If Bobbie ever got hurt, Uncle Carl would take care of her, carefully tending to her wounds and making her feel safe and cared for. He made her feel special in a way that stayed with her for life. Bobbie visited her mother on weekends in Garfield, savoring what little time they had together while balancing the reality of living apart. She attended Shakespeare School in East Liberty from kindergarten through second grade and later went to Lincoln School for a year. During these years, the family eventually moved to 146 Luna Street near Larmer Avenue. It was in that home that Bobbie was finally able to live with her mother again. The house was full, shared with aunts, uncles, and extended relatives, but it gave her the chance to be under the same roof as Geraldine. That move brought Bobbie a sense of connection and closeness that she had longed for. As a child, Bobbie often watched the women in her family walk across town to clean homes. Even then, she understood what hard work looked like. Her father and stepfather both had other offsprings. She was the only girl in her household and often felt caught in the middle. But she was never one to complain. Instead, Bobbie made herself useful. She helped raise her younger siblings, kept the house clean, and learned early on that love didn't always come with softness, but it could still be deeply rooted. Bobbie's siblings consist of Wesley Garnett, Frank, Pippi Garnett, Gregory Garnett, Ronnie Garnett, and she has 2 other brothers from her father, William and Ronnie Miller. The family also had a loyal dog named Poochie, a smart mixed-breed dog who was mostly Black with some white markings. Poochie was more than just a pet. He was a protector and a helper. Incredibly intelligent, Poochie had the unique ability to deliver food, packages, and even cigarettes across the railroad tracks to Bobbie's Aunt Grace. He understood instructions and carried out errands like a trusted family member. His presence added both joy and a sense of safety to Bobbie's young life, becoming yet another quiet example of loyalty and love in the midst of a demanding childhood. At just 13 years old, Bobbie was already stepping into adult responsibilities. She worked as a cashier and helped support the household in ways most children never had to consider. At the time, she was employed at Struthers Drugstore, earning just 50 cents an hour. Her stepfather encouraged her to use those earnings to buy a washer and dryer for her mother, recognizing how hard Geraldine was working to hold things together. Bobbie also took on bills, paying the telephone bill herself and handling errands and supplies for the house. Her strength wasn't loud. It was quiet, reliable, and unwavering. Before her teenage years, Bobbie took a memorable trip to New York City with her grandmother, Virginia, and her cousin Ralph to visit her aunt, the famed jazz pianist and composer, Mary Lou Williams. During the trip, Bobbie learned how to read a map so that she could help her cousin Ralph navigate their way to the city, an early sign of her quick mind and quiet maturity. While visiting Aunt Mary Lou in New York, she enjoyed plates of greens and Hoppin' John, soaking in the cultural rhythm of Sugar Hill, Harlem. One summer, she even stayed with Aunt Mary Lou for an extended visit, while Mary and her sister had to make an unexpected trip back to Pittsburgh. Bobbie remained in New York on her own. During that trip, the weather turned bad, and Mary was involved in a serious car accident on the Pennsylvania Turnpike near Norristown. Despite the turbulence, Bobbie remained composed. Mary tried to teach Bobbie how to play the piano, but Bobbie had no interest, just like she had little desire for sewing or typing. One day, she and her cousin Victoria decided that they wanted to go sightseeing in New York City. Mary warned her not to venture into areas known for trouble, especially those with gangs. But Bobbie's curiosity took her from Sugar Hill down to 59th Street. Bobbie and her cousin both decided it's best to return back to Aunt Mary's apartment in Sugar Hill. Eventually, the excitement of New York wore off, and she grew homesick, even considering writing a letter to return back home. She graduated from George Westinghouse High School in 1959. While in high school, Bobbie was a part organizer of the Chi Omega Phi sorority, a local social club of young women who gathered to play cards, build friendships, and enjoy each other's company. She later trained at St. Margaret's Hospital School of Nursing, pursuing work as a dietary professional. Her work ethic was shaped by the women who came before her, and she carried that in to every job that she held. After high school, Bobbie experienced a major shift in her family life when her stepfather, Frank, passed away. She moved back in with her mother, Geraldine, to offer support and stability in their time of grief. She remained a steady presence in her life, offering strength without fanfare. Bobbie's story is not just one of survival, but of grace, strength, and transformation. In the early 1960s, she met Bill Ferguson, a kind and steady man who was raising 3 daughters from his previous marriage. Bobbie and Bill met each other at a bar on Frankstown Avenue in Homewood. Bobbie was in the bar with her friend. Bill came into the bar with his brother-in-law. Bill pulled out a $100 bill and offered to buy Bobbie and her friend a drink. Their connection was immediate. On February 14th, 1964, Valentine's Day, they were married at the Forest Hills Justice of the Peace in a small but meaningful ceremony. It was the beginning of a partnership established on mutual respect and family. They built a home in Alliance, Ohio. Together, Bobbie and Bill raised 3 children: Bill Jr., born in 1964, Cecily, born in 1971, and Gerald, born in 1973. Bobbie poured her energy into being a wife, a mother, and a caregiver. She was a woman of principle and consistency. Bobbie worked many jobs throughout her life. In 1965, she was a nurse's aide in the pediatric department at Alliance City Hospital. From 1967 to 1969, she worked for the Office of Economic Opportunity, which was established under the Kennedy administration, as a community organizer. In 1971, she was hired at Ohio Bell Telephone as an operator. After being wrongfully terminated, Bobbie filed a civil employment discrimination case that lasted several years. Although she ultimately lost the case, she never stopped speaking up for justice. She became a strong voice in her community, challenging the school board to provide busing for her children and others in the neighborhood who were forced to wait for school buses in a flooded drain tile. She faced parenting scares as well. One terrifying moment came when she and her mother, Geraldine, were putting baby Cecily in the car and the automatic locks clicked. With the engine running and Cecily locked inside, they called Bill in a panic and he raced home from work to rescue the baby. Another time while pregnant with Gerald, Bobbie went into active labor. With no one to take her to the hospital and her mother unable to drive, Geraldine asked Bobbie if she could drive herself. Thankfully, a family friend showed up just in time and rushed Bobbie to the hospital. Gerald was born as soon as they arrived to the hospital. Bobbie also founded a group called the Altrusics. This group made patches for cancer patients, spread awareness about the health risks of smoking, and helped raise funds for Little League teams. She worked for 2 years as a barmaid at the Brown Derby, a bar owned by her husband, Bill Ferguson. Bobbie and Bill later divorced in 1976. She continued building her career at Harder Bank in Canton, Ohio, where she worked as a teller and traveled 40 miles a day. Her performance earned her a promotion to the platform. She was also an advocate for Friendly Town, a program that helped inner city children from Cleveland spend summers with families in Alliance, Ohio. As a member of the Interracial Dialogue Group, Bobbie worked to improve race relations. One of their most impactful efforts helped integrate the public swimming pools. The group showed up in swimsuits and collectively entered the pool together in peaceful protests, forcing change through unity and courage. Eventually, Bobbie returned to Pittsburgh to be closer to family. She held many jobs over the years and later made the decision to go back to school. She attended the Community College of Allegheny County, focusing on early childhood education. She opened her heart and her home to 2 foster children and later became a permanent mother to Jenna, Megan, and Danielle, embracing the joy and challenge of a big blended family. She loved being the mother of 6. Bobbie completed her education with a bachelor's degree from the University of Pittsburgh. A lifelong student, Bobbie Ferguson's legacy shines brightest through her family. She is the proud grandmother of 11, Bill III, Gerald II, Aiden, Daniel, Reagan, Annalise, Mackenzie, Journey, Donnell, Desire, and Egypt, and 1 great-granddaughter, 7 Alita Marie Ferguson. Bobbie founded the Mary Lou Williams Institute for Excellence in the Arts and the Humanities in honor of her aunt. She is the guiding light for the Mary Lou Williams Institute. Today, Bobbie continues to live with love, laughter, and legacy, surrounded by close friends and family, never too far from a good conversation or a lesson to pass on.